and welcome to the study of nutrition. Today we'll cover chapter 1 in your book. This talk is not all-inclusive, so please read the chapter thoroughly on your own. I'll talk about why you should care about nutrition, what nutrients are, what nutritional health status is, and how science is done in general. The first question you might ask about nutrition is, why study this? Well, there are a lot of good reasons. If you look at the leading causes of death in the United States, you'll find that heart disease and cancers top the list. These diseases are influenced by diet. If you look at all of the diseases we die from, about 64% of the causes of death in the United States can be at least partially linked to diet. Cancer is one of the leading causes of death, and many types of cancers are influenced by one's diet. For example, colon cancer risk is increased by diets that are high in fat and low in fruits, vegetables, and fiber. Breast cancer risk is increased by alcohol consumption. And many other disorders are affected by the types of food we eat, like hypertension, diabetes, and osteoporosis. Furthermore, obesity is a major issue. Most of Americans are overweight or obese. But that doesn't mean we want to be obese. It's clear that people care about losing weight and that they spend a lot of money trying to do it by buying weight loss products and dietary supplements. But all of this is not working. Some knowledge about nutrition could help people live healthier lives without wasting their money on fads and products they don't need. A person's diet can be made up of fresh fruits and vegetables and whole grains, or it could be made up of fast food and packaged foods. Either way, the foods are composed of nutrients, and the nutrients are used in the body for energy, growth, and to maintain normal processes. Those nutrients can be broken up into two groups: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients include carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and water, and we consume these in large quantities. Micronutrients include vitamins and minerals. We consume these in much smaller quantities. Some examples of those micronutrients are things like thiamine, vitamin A, calcium, and maybe some you haven't thought of before, like fluoride and nickel. Carbohydrates can be simple or complex. Simple carbohydrates are monosaccharides like glucose, or disaccharides like lactose. Complex carbohydrates are longer chains of those same monosaccharides. They form structures like fiber and starch. There are also lipids and proteins. Lipids are made of longer molecules containing a fatty acid tail and glycerol base. Proteins are made of amino acids, and they form complex folded structures in your body. They do a lot of the specific work inside your cells. Those vitamins listed earlier can be either water-soluble or fat-soluble. All of the B vitamins and vitamin C can dissolve in water. So you might see drinks with vitamin C, for example. All of the other vitamins are fat-soluble. They can be stored in your body much longer than water-soluble vitamins, which are easily excreted in urine. The minerals are required in very small amounts. Some you only need about a gram of. For reference, a gram is about the weight of a paperclip. These include calcium, sodium, potassium, chloride, and phosphorus. They make up important structures in your body, like your bones. Other minerals are required in much smaller amounts. These include things like iron, zinc, copper, and selenium. They generally serve as parts of proteins inside your body. Food is also composed of other chemicals. Some of these appear to affect health. They're called phytochemical for those in plants and zoochemical for those in animal products, like fish or milk. You may have heard of some of these in the news. There was a report that resveratrol in grapes and wine works as an antioxidant a while ago. These compounds are all still undergoing research. The carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids are similar because they produce energy. In nutrition, the energy is measured in calorie or kilocalorie units. 1 calorie is the amount of heat energy it takes to raise the temperature of 1 liter of water 1 degree centigrade. So if you actually burn the food, this is a way to measure the heat that escapes. Carbohydrates and proteins are worth 4 kilocalories per gram, and lipids are worth 9. Alcohol can be used for energy. It's worth 7 kilocalories per gram. All of these sources of energy are used for bodily functions. For example, if you need to move muscle, this costs energy. If you need to repair some muscle or skin, this costs energy. If you need to use your nervous system to think or coordinate movement, that also costs energy. And you need to maintain a good ion balance between the inside and outside of your cells in your body for proper function. This is normal maintenance that also requires energy. So that's an overview of a lot of the science of nutrition that we'll cover in depth in this course. There's another side of food, though, and that's more psychological. Think for a moment about 4 foods you ate today, and then think about why you chose that food. And you can pause. Now, how do the reasons you listed compare to those in the book? Did you choose something out of habit? Did you choose it just because it was easy to get? Maybe because you really wanted that flavor, or it made you feel a certain way? Or maybe we were focused on the health and nutrition of the food. These everyday choices impact our overall nutritional health status. A person might have optimal nutritional status, or they may have undernutrition. This could be defined as a specific deficiency in something like protein or calcium. They also may have overnutrition. They may be taking in too many calories or too much of one micronutrient, potentially causing a toxic effect. Nutritional health can be measured in a few ways. By anthropometrics, things like scales, waist circumference, or fat deposit measurement. Biochemical, measuring products in the blood or other fluids. Clinical observation, when a nurse takes blood pressure and heart rate. And environmental, when a person reports what they eat or you surmise based on environmental indicators. How we interpret these results depends on our view of the science of nutrition. Many of the things we know about nutritional science are the result of the scientific method. By the scientific method, we mean the process by which people observe things and behaviors and come up with ideas or hypotheses about those observations, and finally test their hypothesis with an experiment. The types of experiment could use animals or humans. Some types of experiments are not practical to do on humans, so experimental animals such as mice, pigs, or even fish could be used. If humans are observed, there are a few common methods in nutrition. One is migrant studies. The researcher follows what happens to people as they enter a new culture and adopt its behaviors. Another is cohort studies. The researcher finds similar groups of people and follows outcomes of different behaviors as they emerge. Case control studies are those that compare the outcomes of people who are very similar except for one thing that's being studied. And finally, double-blind studies. Those are experiments where the researcher and the participant do not know what type of intervention is being done. For example, if you came into the lab and I was assigned an unknown pill to give to you, and I just had to record your reaction, I would be blind to the pill's desired effect, and you would also be blind to the desired effect. So it would be double blind. In science, researchers get together to do an experiment like those we've talked about, and then they write up their findings. Once they're written, they submit their findings to a group of peers who critiques them. Their fellow scientists make sure they haven't overlooked anything and suggest possible changes and additions to ensure that their conclusions are sound. After this video, you should be able to answer these questions. Feel free to email me with any questions you have.